Hey Andy, happy to have you on the podcast, man. Let's just jump right into it. Tell us about PopSips and Passion Tree and how long you've been doing this.
Yeah, man. Well, it's definitely great to be on. I'm Andy, the CMO of PopSips and Passion Tree as well, one of the co-founders, one of three actually.
Nice.
Um, but no, we've it's been quite a journey, that's for sure, with both brands. Having two beverage companies is definitely never easy, let alone one. Um, but Passion Tree is kind of, I can kind of just go into the start of it all, if
Yeah.
you'd like.
Mhm. Good. Yeah.
Two of my friends who ended up being my co-founders gave me a call back in 2019, I believe it was, and I'm originally from Minnesota, so my buddy was also from Minnesota as well. He gave me a call and he's like, "Hey, we want to create a seltzer company that was branded a little bit differently and brought a little bit more of a unique feel to the market." Um, and obviously this was before there was a ton of entrance into the market. It was really just mainly White Claw and like the Bud Light seltzers and Trulies of the world. Um, and so we essentially set off, and I was like, yeah, I'm down, right? Let's go for it. So did the whole business plan and all that, and ended up raising some capital, put a decent amount of capital, or essentially everything that we had into the
Mhm.
company as you have to. And um, I think once you start raising any money from outside investors, at that point, you better be all in. Like you
Mhm.
better be full time, even if you can't be. So that's something that we just went fully all in. Second, we started raising money. Um, I moved out to Miami, and then ended up we were going to be launching in San Diego though. So after we formulated Passion Tree, we tried to brew it in like the apartment and everything. It tasted terrible. And I do not recommend that at all. Turning it down to like 60 degrees in the apartment just to let it ferment did not work out well. But then we partnered up with um, a brewer, and they helped us formulate and everything. So our main thing with Passion Tree at the time was let's be lightly carbonated. We felt like a ton of the drinks were overly carbonated. And then bring like more exotic flavors to the market. At the time, it was really just a lot of basic flavors. So that's what we did with Passion Tree. And then fast forward to our launch, we picked up my uncle's 1994 Gulfstream Conquest RV and fully wrapped it in the branding. And from there, drove it out. That was in Texas, actually. Drove it out to San Diego and lived out of that baby for about 4.5 months.
Nice.
Starting the company in Mission Bay Trailer Park. So packing cases and everything when we had to. Um, Activating liquor stores and that thing. It was my daily driver at the time too. So it was quite the. It was that was pretty fun. So that was in 2021. Um, May of 2021 is when we launched officially. Um, and it just kind of created a little community out in San Diego, and people really resonated with the brand. And we got our first started with liquor stores. That's what I love about the market in San Diego, though, is it's such a liquor store driven market that I think that's why you see some of the iconic brands that have come out of San Diego, like the Ballast Points of the world. June Shine's done an incredible job too. And there's Cutwater as well. I think it's the community itself and just the market
Yeah.
allows for smaller businesses to come alive, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, with that, we wanted to, actually create a brand that allowed us to, get into the community, and that's what we did. So after the liquor stores, um, it ended up getting a chance with Ralph's, Kroger Ralph's in California.
Nice.
Um, and then that was through one of our advisors. I think that that's a big thing with the beverage industry is you have to have a good advisory team and or consultants. There's a lot of shady ones out there, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are looking for crazy retainers or whatever it is.
Right.
That is just like it can kill you as a small business.
It can,
Uh,
because
it
they're
really
asking for
can.
money and you don't know if they actually know those people. It's a lot of bullshitters, to be honest.
There is. So it's something, we learn the hard way sometimes, and sometimes we're able to obviously get through it and pick the right ones. But we've been working with someone who's been, amazing, and he was been in the industry for 30 years or so, and have a couple of those guys, some of the gray hairs we like to call them. They don't like that comment, but that's what we call them, and they've been amazing for us. So
That's awesome.
after getting in with Ralph's, that's really where it kind of was able to set off more. So then expanded throughout California, got into some Total Wines and additional liquor stores. Ended up moving up to Los Angeles a year and a half or so later, and then got a as we never wanted to be a craft seltzer brand. It was never the goal. It was always to be a international or a national company, and it just wasn't happening when we tried to go into other states. Ton of pushback. Now, this was in 2022, really. It was just every person and their cousin and their mother had a seltzer brand or a canned cocktail, no shortage at all. And we found ourselves just in this extremely crowded market, which is difficult to compete in if you don't have, a crazy amount of funding. We had, a backing for sure, but it was nothing compared to like be able to compete. And there's some struggles that we dealt with, but we kind of had to take a step back and say, okay, if we want to be a larger company, what do we got to do? Like what we're doing right now is not working. We have to do something that's actually different. So when we took a step back, we're just like, hey, what's going on in the market? What's happening with customers? What are people's lifestyles looking like? And at this time, this is when a lot of like the more moderation drinking trends were happening. NA products were coming onto the market, like athletic brewing, and that was starting to explode. And people were drinking. Especially nowadays, people are looking to drink less, or they're just looking for a better way to drink. They care more about what they're putting in their bodies, just living like a more active, healthy lifestyle.
Mhm.
So we looked at the market and we're like, okay, well, this is what can we pull from this? It's like, okay, but people aren't trying to necessarily completely go sober, but at the same time, there's nothing in between for these moderate drinkers. So that's when we kind of looked at Coca-Cola's playbook, and they came out with their mini cans, mini Cokes, and
Mhm.
that's become such a big part of their business. I think it was like 15% of their sales the first year and a half, 2 years of launching minis. And to us, it was a great way to kind of penetrate and be different, right? From
Right.
packaging standpoint. So we came out with Passion Tree minis, pitched it to Target, and a few months later, Target was like, or essentially Target immediately was like, we love this. Like, how many stores can you guys handle? And their buyers, credit to the Target team over there, just incredible people, open to innovation, and being different in the market. So ended up launching in about 700 or so locations across 5 states with Target with the Passion Tree minis. And we discontinued the Passion Tree 12-ounce cans. And then, from there, it's been in Targets ever since. That was in uh, 2023 October, October 2023, yeah. And it's been awesome. I mean, it's been really the only way our company has survived is being different, adding a different option to the market, right? Um, but just to kind of get, I think, to where we are today, last thing I would say is for us, we wanted to keep innovating. So we didn't want to just stop at Passion Tree and our seltzers. We knew that also that market has seen its better days. So, as obviously we love that brand and we wanted to keep growing and it will. Got into other retailers like Whole Foods and stuff, trials. Um, we want to make an impact on the alcohol industry in a bigger way. And when we saw, my girlfriend originally was the one who introduced me to brands like Poppy and Olipop. I fell in love. I was like, this stuff is good. I
Mhm.
love this stuff. It tastes really good. And what I really became a fan of though was their disruption. Like they disrupted a market in a big way, um, soda in a big way, and I love what they did with their socials and their branding and all that. And me and the guys, we really felt that there was an opportunity with the alcohol market where we don't see brands like a Four Loko nowadays being successful. We just don't think that's going to be the case. I think people and consumers have changed too much in terms of their lifestyles.
Younger folks
Uh,
don't drink this stuff.
no, definitely not. It's way too sugary. There's just it's just not it right now. So we're like, okay, well, what if we can create a beverage with some functional benefit, better for you ingredients in it, and kind of disrupt the alcohol industry by just creating a better way to drink. But also being transparent about it's still alcohol. You can't come out and say it's healthy for you. It's not. It's still alcohol. But myself and I think probably millions of other people would agree that would you rather drink a beverage that has some beneficial ingredients, better for you ingredients in it than one that doesn't if you're going to choose a drink?
Right.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I would. So that's what PopSips really is it's just a better way to drink. If you're going to choose to drink alcohol, it's first spiked prebiotic soda. And we launched that into Target with two 4-packs. So it was really to drive trial and see.
These ones?
Yeah, exactly. The PopSips, raspberry rose, ginger lime, and we're set to launch a couple more flavors here this year, which we're excited about. And just the feedback's been incredible from creators sending them out. And I think this kind of leads into our conversation and how we got connected was man, the creator send out and sourcing of creators can be extremely time consuming. Extremely time consuming. I don't know if you want to kind of go into that a little bit more, but I'm happy
Yeah,
to.
no, I mean, I would just say that like a couple of things in your story really resonated with me. My dad's from Minnesota and he also moved to California. Um, Also, I had a buddy from college. Man, is it? Can you hear it echo? I had a buddy in college who tried to start a hard kombucha company in San Diego, and it was tough for him. Like that story you sold about your apartment and 50 degrees, like he was doing that. He was cutting the limes. His stuff tasted good, but I just don't think he could ever like break into a store. I think it's really tough to him. So he tried to go the B2C route, and it was really tough.
Yep.
So yeah, he ended up just burning cash, and it ended up not going anywhere. So I know this is a tough industry. Yeah, I think you're right because I recently finished a master's degree. I'm 32, just for reference.
Mm-hmm.
The people in my class were like 24, 25. And I remember we went to this party and like they just don't drink the way that I did when I was in college. Like we used to chug Four Locos. The
Yep.
kids nowadays, they're like, oh, I want to feel good tomorrow. I'm not going to drink a lot of beers tonight. So I do see like how your brand is super popular, and I do see like it's got that kind of light green, red look that is really attractive on social media, I guess.
100%.
Yeah, and I'd love to jump into the influencer. Like, how are you doing it? How long have you been doing it? How do you find influencer? Everything. Like
Yeah. For us, we were not an influencer first started brand. We didn't have a following or we never had any celebrity backing or anything like that. So it's always been three normal guys starting it off and seeing what we could do with a product and a brand and kind of going from there. So a lot of it is really, finding outsourcing, definitely been doing creator marketing for, I don't know, 3 years now or so, 3.5 years. Obviously with Passion Tree, it started first, and then PopSips, it's only been a product now on the market for I don't know 3.5 months or so. But I think the big difficulties that we've faced with creator marketing is first of all the costs are just astronomical. It's just something that as a startup company, I feel like I like to give the analogy of like I feel like I'm going in the casino every time I'm doing a deal with a creator sometimes because I don't know what exactly I'm going to get, and you're also gambling a lot because if you're a startup, every dollar counts. So if you bet big or you bet at all on a creator and it's like 5% of your budget or even that, right? Like that's a lot, that, especially if you do a couple people, it's like it can really add up and eat into your budget fast. And that's not to mention like, hey, that's just a singular time going about it, and that's not saying, okay, I want to run campaigns throughout the whole year. You know what I mean? If something doesn't work out, you're kind of stuck then if you just fully gamble on it. So to take out the gambling aspect was a big thing for us. Um, Obviously, we wanted to focus more on our own internal content that we're always still working on. It's definitely not perfect on that. We could use a lot of work on that still. And that's just a learning process. But um, I think from the creator side of things, we've really focused on more just creator sendouts. I think at the end of the day, like our creators are still, they're our customers. Like a lot of them are our customers. They're the hero of our story at the end of the day. Like they're going to be the ones who are going to spread the word out to more and more people. And our customers are going to be the ones who just post randomly on social media. Like that word of mouth, that type of word of mouth nowadays, there's nothing more valuable, right? And that's that validation. That's like that social proof validation. So you get that with creator sendouts is like when you do the outreach. But what I hated was like I'd have our social team and even myself. It's like we'd be going scrolling through hours and just putting links into an Excel sheet, or like I'd send our team different profiles and then they would go through and find the email addresses and put them into an Excel sheet. And it's like thousands of creator names and stuff, but it took so long. And I was like, there's got to be a better way for this. So that's ended up when I found out about you guys, just kind of just looking online really for something that's could be different. And that stumbled upon not only you guys, but also now with like the insurgence of AI, how could we automate our systems a little bit more to where I can give my team time back to focus on our own content creation rather than just medial just work that could be done and automated that should give back our time. Like that's the purpose I think of AI. I think it's probably not gonna, I think the biggest thing, my opinion, is AI is going to enhance a lot of the work that we do today, and allow us to, do more and more of what we love, or like more and more of those things that exactly. So I think whenever I guess our process for PopSips and Passion Tree is like, instead of having someone reach out all the time, or like manually reach out, have like a set template, and an exact idea of like the type of creator we're looking for. And we use it right now. We use a program called Bardeen AI, and Bardeen's been great. Initially, you kind it comes off as like, oh wow, like this could be expensive, but I mean, to us, it's just once again you're buying back time. So how much do you value your time and your team's time? And I think it's probably one of the most valuable things we can get back. And so on the monthly cost, it made a ton of sense to us. And then I was like, okay, well, if we're having this automation, so essentially what Bardeen does is it just goes through, like if I put in a creator's profile that I think aligns with our target audience, I think of like a creator. So it doesn't have to be a creator, it could be anybody. But let's say I put in Jessica, and Jessica is a wellness creator who is super into Pilates. And I think, and she's 25 years old. And I think that she probably follows other creators who give her inspiration for her own content, right? It's probably the case. And so betting on that, I say, okay, well, I take her profile link and I put it into our AI. So essentially, Bardeen creates a template that's a custom for your brand. And the template that I had them create was essentially it would scrape. So it'd go, if I put in their profile, it then goes onto their profile. It works in the background of my computer. So then it goes onto their profile, Jessica's profile, and it'll go into her who she's following. It could also do followers, but who she's following, let's just say she's following 1,000 people. It'll scrape through all those people. Let's just say the parameters I do it. It's like maybe it's 4,000 to 200,000 followers. Okay, well, from there, it'll then create a spreadsheet and a list of every single one of those people that follow along or follow at least within those guidelines. 4,000 to 200,000 people or whatever it might be. A female has to be an actual person, not a brand. You could filter by the actual location as well. So it's pretty cool. Like it'll provide a link. So then it'll create an Excel sheet or a sheet, Google Sheets, of all of these people who, essentially align with what we're searching for. And out of those 1,000 people that she's following, I might get 200 people instantly. Not instantly, but like over, I don't know, a couple hour period. So right there, I'm not having to do a single thing, yet it's doing all of our back end research and kind of more getting creators, essentially bringing creators to us. And then from there, once we have this list, I can look through and say, okay, cool. What can I like? Do we want to send to these people? Is this correct? Sometimes it doesn't. It's not perfect though, right? It'll include some people that shouldn't be there, but I can manually go in. And then the next step though is that's when I can click the next step. And step 2 is then it automatically sends the email template that I want to. So then it'll go through that whole list, take that list, extract it, send an email out. And the goal though with this is, and that's where your guys' company, your company comes in, where influencer gifting, it's like that form is so perfect because now I can have the AI send out that form and within our email right then and there.
Right.
So then if a creator wants to, we don't have a huge marketing budget. So it's like, okay, well, like we really believe in our product. It's truly one of a kind, the PopSips. And it's like, how can we just get more and more people to taste it? Feedback's been amazing. This seems like a scalable way to do that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we did is like gave someone the easiest way to go about that, and choosing a product was with your guys' thing because I was shocked. I was like, there's nothing else on the market that like easily could just give a creator, anybody, a way to just select a product. And then boom, if you have a fulfillment center through like Shopify already connected,
Right.
it gets sent out. And then I'm not over here packing tons of boxes in my apartment or at the warehouse to send out to creators, which once again, like they're the hero of the story. So if we
Are
can
you,
get
are
that,
you like sending a special kind of box, like influencer PR package, or
we have done that in the past. We right now we're just including like a little note in a box. We have done like custom boxes too, which we've gone through the process of like looking at sourcing it in America versus China. I mean, it's the price differences are quite different, and with Passion Tree, we were able to source that from China, and certainly got quite the deal on those. But the lead times were insane, so you got to really be on top of that. So what we do is, right now it's just product itself and like a little note, but this summer I'm excited to really expand on it though, because we can do different campaigns where let's say like I want to do like a tote bag inside of our box that like maybe the tote bag is maybe the PopSips are inside of the tote bag. It's a custom tote bag or something like that that has some other materials or something that gets ready for Coachella, right? We can include those branded things already in there. And that could be even, hey, maybe we want to give them an option, what they want to choose to put in their tote bag on the creator gifting form too. It's like those things, that's what it allows us to do. And I think that's why I love it so much.
nice. Yeah, I to give you some context into why I built this app, it was like I was helping a buddy with it, and everything we seemed to be doing with Bardeen, we were doing manually. This was before like this whole AI and surgeon, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So we would go look for creators on TikTok and Instagram via hashtags or like via mutual followers, like you said. And eventually, what I noticed was the Discover page got a lot better a couple days of it because it would kind of knew who we were looking for. And then
And then
we would
we would
love
Instagram
Instagram DMs or
DMs or
email.
email.
TikTok DMs are kind of weird. And
And
then
then
there's always
there's
this
always this
back and
back
forth
and
of like,
forth of
oh,
like,
what's
oh,
your
what's your
address? What's
address? What's
replies? And then
replies?
some
And
people
some
would stop
people would stop
replying. And
replying. And
so,
so,
yeah, I
yeah,
really
I
like
really
the
like
approach because it's
it's
just
just
find the
find the
influencer and just
influencer and
send an
just send
email
an
right
email
away that
right away
says,
that says,
hey,
hey,
we love your
love your
content. We'd
content.
love to
We'd love
send
to
you a
send you
free
a free
gift.
gift.
If you're
If you're
interested, just
interested, just
open this
open this
link, fill
link,
out the
fill out the
form. One will
form.
be
One will
there,
be
no
there, no
strings
strings
attached.
attached.
So they
So
don't
they don't
think that
think
they're
that
like,
they're like,
you know,
you know.
and of
And
course
of
on the
course, on the
form, there's
form,
like a
there's
little
like a little
box that
box that
says like,
says like,
if you
if
do
you do
post, we
post,
can
we can
repost it, but
repost it, but
it's not like
it's not
pushing them to
pushing them to
do it. It's
do it.
just,
It's just no, you can never go into something. You can never go into creator gifting with like the assumption that like they need to be posting for us. Like we're sending them product. Like that's the worst mindset anyone could ever have. Like to have it like, oh, you got to post because we sent you product. Like that's ridiculous. Like no, you're sending a creator a product that you're hoping that they post, but you're also just hoping that they like it, right?
right.
Like you're hoping that they like it enough to where they feel inclined to post. And that's the option that you're giving them. And like, hey, some do, some don't, but that's their choice because at the end of the day, a lot of these creators are getting paid tons of money to post for brands. So if a creator with 200,000 followers decides to post about your product because you sent them because you sent them product, like, hey, lucky you. You know, like good on you to have a good enough product because that creator didn't have to do that. That creator probably could have gotten paid a lot of money just for a story post. Like some of the pricing, it's pretty wild. You know, like people are making a living off of it
Yeah.
because there's legitimate reach. Obviously, you have to be careful with certain creators that you're working with. You know, make sure it aligns with your brand, or make sure that you're looking at certain metrics of ones that you're looking to actually send out to. Or then I like to use the gifting as like a great way to see who resonates with the product, like who really enjoys our product, loves the branding, and shows that through like letting me know or letting us know, shooting us a DM, even if you don't post about it, showing that enthusiasm and passion towards what we're trying to build and like a better way to drink. Like if they really resonate with that, that's to me someone who maybe we should work with right later on down the road because we know that they love it. So you just know the content that they're going to be able to provide for us is going to just seem, it's going to automatically be more genuine.
Right.
Right.
And that's
And
the
that's
whole
the whole
point.
point.
With the
With the
paid
paid
collaboration
collaboration
thing, I've
thing,
always
I've
felt it
always
was just
felt it was
like
like
it wasn't
it wasn't
genuine.
genuine.
Nowadays,
Nowadays,
followers are
followers are
snappy. They
snappy. They
pick up
pick
on
up
that
on
right
that right
away.
away.
If it's
If
like
it's like a,
you can
you can
tell
tell
someone's being
someone
paid
being
to
paid to
post, and
post,
they'll
and they'll
just kind of
just
like
kind of like
screw this
screw
and
this
keep
and keep
scrolling.
scrolling.
Um,
You can tell when it's a paid post and they don't actually know anything about it, or they don't resonate with the brand at all, right? See, like I'm okay with paying to post, but I think the creator gifting gives you a chance to figure out who actually is going to be able to really be genuine about your product when they're talking about it, or actually like when they do get paid, you're going to get a piece of content, and also their audience who you're trying to reach is going to get a piece of content that's actually authentic. You know what I mean? That's to me like that's the sweet spot right there.
right. So
So
post
post
gift.
gift. Um,
Tell me
tell me
what
what
happens. Like,
happens.
do you
Like, do you
follow up with
follow up with
them?
them?
Was
Was
push them
push
for a
them for a
post?
post?
Not
Not
really.
really. I never push for a post. I think the best information. So when we follow up, yeah, definitely follow up. I mean, I think that actually, if we've seen it increase, I'm going to be testing it more. Um, but I think it really seen it increase the amount of posts that we've gotten just by following up. Because sometimes it's just a reminder. Like a lot of these critters, they get sent a lot of packages. We've seen some of these like PR hauls or whatever it is, like some of them is just like tons of packages getting sent to them. So you can't blame them for if it takes a couple weeks or whatever it is to post. I totally get that. But yeah, definitely follow up. Like, hey, you know when it's going to arrive. So when it arrives, give them a day or two, and just say, hey, just wanted to check in, just or let you know that a delicious package arrived. We hope you love it, right? We'd love to just know. We can't wait to hear your thoughts on it, what you think about it, and they can either take that and say, "Hey, like I'm gonna make a post and actually tell people," or maybe they just tell you on the DMs and maybe it's something that we can learn. So we can learn on like, hey, what did they actually like about it? What was it that, or maybe they didn't like it, or maybe what was their favorite flavor? Like we
Like
definitely
getting
love
those
hearing that.
keywords to use in ads
Yeah,
and posts.
for sure. Like
Yeah.
all of that's valuable. So, and it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
That's at the end of the day, it's a numbers game, no doubt about it. Um, you just never know. I'll roll the dice on, if we don't have to pay a crazy amount of money, I'll roll the dice on our product. Like I believe in our product so much that I think it's just going to take a post from, maybe it's someone that we're sending to, maybe it's a customer who picks it up at the store, goes to Target in their state or orders it online and just loves it so much, and they make a post and that just goes viral. You just never know. Maybe they see one of the creators who posted about it that we sent to on their story or whatever it is, and then they told a friend, and then their friend told it. Like you just never know. So I think the worst thing you can do is shoot yourself in the foot by not trying.
Yeah. Have you gone viral?
No, no,
Not yet.
we have not. I wish we have. But I think when I think about our brands, I think PopSips probably has the highest potential in my mind, just because it's a very novel item. It's the only product out there like it. Passion Tree is also right now the only mini seltzers that you can buy as well. But that's also, at the end of the day, it's still in a category where there's other options. Now, is there another mini option? No. But when you look at PopSips, it's a completely different category. So I think it adds a level of intrigue, right? Not only to the person trying it, but also potential to the viewer too.
Hmm.
So we'll see what happens, though. I think I have a great feeling. I think it's going to be a really, really special year.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Do you, speaking of numbers, like, do you track anything? Like, okay, we spent this much money in gifting, we got this views. Do you calculate anything like that, or?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like those are definitely things that you want to keep track of. Obviously, like whether it's have creators, I like to put like in a note, like in the note. That's typically where I'll have like a little bit of a, like include the handles, right, on TikTok or Instagram, and also a hashtag, right? Like if they do use a hashtag, like that's obviously really easy to track. Um, I think there's also just so many different like platforms and stuff that you could use, that creator management platforms and all this, that like, yeah, we could use that to really get some hone in on some data. Um, but I don't, it's pretty easy to just see it. You know what I mean? Like it's right there. You just search it. You know what I mean? Like, so like we can keep track of it. To a certain extent, but we haven't built out like the system or have like any platforms that we're like actively keeping track of like every single analytic that each post is doing. Like, and I think it's more, let's just get the word out there, create some awareness, and then really focus our efforts on our own organic content. And then then we'll just take one step at a time there, though.
How are you doing organic content?
Right now, I've just brought in an all girls marketing team. Our products, it's funny how three guys who are 29 years old, creeping it into their almost 30s, created two products that really 75-80% of women are our customers, which I think is amazing. I'll tell you this right now, as a CPG company, women are, that's my favorite customer in the world, because they will tell you if they love it, or they'll tell you if they hate it, and they'll tell everybody about it too. One of those opinions. They're very vocal in the best way possible. So you got to appreciate that transparency and authenticity that they give you about your products. So, but because of that, because of the fact that we generally have a women woman customer base, I wanted to really just bring in an all girls marketing team. And so I told them, I was like, I want to do things internally. I've worked with agencies in the past and just gone like off and on of like content just wasn't that great. And just, it was hard to make it feel like ours still. And I wanted more of an internal feeling. So now we're going to really be focusing on like storytelling, and sharing, customer experiences and all that. So over the next kind of month, I think you'll start seeing a lot of that content roll out, and I'm excited. And we'll see how far we can take this thing.
What's the biggest platform for you, TikTok or Instagram?
For Passion Tree, it's Instagram. I would have best performing videos on TikTok. But then PopSips, it's like even. I mean, it's such a new account, that it's something that, we're small, but the little community there, it's so cool to see when you post a story asking about people's favorite flavors, or see people reaching out in the DMs. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like people had never they definitely reached out, but not at this frequency. From even Passion Tree to PopSips, like the frequency of people reaching out randomly across the country in like different areas, like, oh my god, my girlfriend just tried this, I loved it, I'm totally obsessed with this, like I just picked this up from my Target, like just wanted to DM you guys, like thank you. Thank you for creating something that's like it's delicious, I'm not a huge kombucha girl, like that, it's something that actually like I can enjoy. And it's different than a seltzer, different than a canned cocktail. Yeah, it's just that's like one of my favorite things in the world to see, is like the DMs that come in. And it's not like it's like every single day there's someone, tons of them. But it's more frequently than we've ever experienced ourselves. So to see that and now be able to create more of an engaging community, um, I'm excited about. So we'll see what happens. I think on the road to the goal for this year is, let's see if we can get 10,000 fans of our product, and people who are excited about the brand and want to join in on this, a better way to drink, this type of movement that we're creating.
Yeah, man, you're growing your community.
Yes,
The
sir.
brand. Um, last thing I'll say, I think the really cool thing you did was Bardeen was like you decided like, hey, this is the process I want to follow, and let's add in tools where they make sense. I see a lot of brands just like I want to do influencer marketing. I'm gonna jump to this tool that does it this way, but you decided like I'm gonna do it my way. Truthfully, it's cheaper when you just plug in the tools that make sense at the right time. Bardeen to feed an influencer, you got something for email sending, and then my tool for fulfilling the product. And that's really all you need. Like I see some people blowing 3,000, 4,000 a month on like the big platforms, and yeah, it's really cool that you figured it out, Bardeen.
Yeah, I know. I think nowadays, we didn't want to be that that founding team that stuck we're just stuck in our old ways, and like didn't want to let our egos say no, AI can't help us, or like, we don't want to overuse it. Some people like overuse it in my mind, to where like it halts creativity. um Now, if you use it though to enhance your processes and make them more efficient, that's where I think a lot of the value comes from. And that's what we were able to do with at least this implementation of it. It just comes back to, we're giving more time back to ourselves, and then also to our team, to allow them to focus more on our internal content instead of just death scrolling through the internet. It doesn't doesn't sound like much fun to anybody.
Well, hey man, thanks for coming on. It
Yeah.
was great conversation, and looking forward to working with you in the future.
No, I appreciate it, Neil, and thank you for creating what you've created, man. I mean, it's definitely saved us. I don't know how much time. I'll have to add it up at one point, to give you that stat. But no, I appreciate it, man, and we'll talk soon. All right.
Awesome, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.